It's Thursday, July 19th, and you're listening to The Geek at Geek News Central. This is show number 783, sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com. Our July special is get .coms for just $4.95. Purchase up to 3 domains. Use promo code 495GEEK. Geek News Central is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Hey, everyone, got a great show lined up for you. You know what comes next. Strap in. Here it comes.
All right, people, I need a go, no-go for the Geek News Central podcast. Digital archive recorders.
We're go fly.
Microphone.
We're go fly.
Video feed.
Go.
Web browser.
Go.
RSS data stream aggregator.
Go fly.
Interflux Toddism suppressor.
All right, I'm confused.
Host readiness check.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
The Geek News Central podcast is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to go. Cue Todd in
5,
Button, who's got the button?
4,
There is no cause for alarm.
3,
Everybody hold on to something.
2,
Just press the button.
1.
Aloha and welcome to Geek News Central, coming to you as live as it can be from the beautiful state of Hawaii via the Geek News Central studio overlooking Greater Honolulu. Hey, everyone, welcome to the show. Of course, my name is Todd Cochran, and I encourage you to get over to geeknewscentral.com. I want to give a warm welcome to all of the Ohana, all of the longtime listeners and viewers of the show. Thanks for being here. And, of course, thanks for being part of the family of the podcast. It is, I tell you, this is what I do for you. And I'm honest with you. It's my pleasure to bring the show to you every Monday and Thursday night. Of course, we do Saturday morning tech every Saturday at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 noon Eastern, at least when I'm here in Honolulu. The Chrome Show, we've got the Gadget Professor, Robot Underpants all here at Geek News Central. And, of course, I want to encourage you to go over to the website. And when you're over there, you can get subscribed to the show. You'll find information there on how to do that. Sign up for a newsletter. That newsletter will get you basically all the show notes delivered directly to your inbox immediately following the show. And, of course, you can reach me here on the show real easy. You can do so by reaching out on Twitter at Geek News. You can email me at geeknews@gmail.com, or you can use our hotline at 619-342-7365. Matter of fact, I forgot to check the hotline today, and I think a couple of calls had come in. So if I'm able to squeeze that in a little bit later, I'll do so. But here in the Honolulu studio of the of Geek News Central, and it's been absolutely weird weather in Hawaii. July is usually no rain, sunny, but we've had periodic rains every day, cloudy. It's bizarre to say the least, and I know many of you that are in the mainland and the lower 48, you guys are dealing with a drought and no rain. So I think it's all shifted over here, so it's kind of weird. But nonetheless, it's still 80 degrees with great trade winds, so I can't complain. Hey, if you missed the show, you can always watch the show on your iPad, on your Android tablet, on your mobile device. Listen, there's lots of ways to check out the show, and we encourage you to do so. Of course, you can watch the show as well on our Tech Podcast channel on the Roku, Boxee, Samsung Smart TV, and Google TV. And for those of you that have Rokus in Canada, we resubmitted our application to the Roku folks, and we should have the Tech Podcast channel up and running in Canada, France, and wherever else the Roku is sold these days here in the coming days. So we'll keep you advised on that, and hopefully by the next show, that'll all be updated. Of course, we want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, GoDaddy.com. And GoDaddy has been here, for a long time, and they've been able to put together some great deals for us to offer to you over the past few years. And I got a great deal for you this month. And really, you've just got a short amount of time here to react to this promotion. And what we're going to do is we're going to get you .coms at $4.95 per year. Now, we're going to let you buy up to 3 domains at that price by using my promo code 495GEEK. Now, this is absolutely a fantastic deal. You're able to, get a domain name, a .com, at just absolute rock bottom prices. This is the best deal in the space as far as getting a .com goes. And, of course, if you're looking to add a hosting account to that, once you picked up those .coms, you're going to need something to do with it. So we want to encourage you to definitely check out their web hosting as well. They've got great web hosting solutions available. And really, you can do website builders, you can do web hosting from starting at $5.94 a month, dedicated and virtual dedicated servers from $29.99 a month, and even cloud servers starting at 5 cents an hour. But the most important thing is that you get access to my promo codes, and the promo codes are real easy to get access to. All you got to do is go over to geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy, and that's going to give you access to all my codes. And there's a code there for every occasion. And whether you're picking up an SSL certificate, whether you're looking to get some money off on your purchase, basically savings on hosting or domain names, renewals, we've got it all for you. Share those codes with your friends, family members, people that you know. And I tell you, it comes back to help the show here in a big way. Of course, we continue to offer 25% off fourth generation hosting plans by using promo code NAB. Every time you use that, that helps the show out here a lot. So we want to thank GoDaddy for being a longtime sponsor here at the show, and we want to encourage you, of course, to check out GoDaddy.com and all their great products and services. You also notice on the website we've got an Amazon banner up. If you're going to purchase something from Amazon, hey, stop and come to Geek News Central first, click on the banner, and then when you get over to Amazon and make that purchase, you're helping the show, and really it doesn't cost you any more to do that. All you got to do is come to GNC first, click on the Amazon link, and then go pick up your products over there. That helps us a great deal as well. Let's talk a little bit here about what's going on here locally. My wife's mother has departed the scene for Las Vegas. She's visiting with her half-sister and some of the niece and nephews there in Vegas. They're actually, I think they went to San Francisco first, and then they're going to go to Vegas. I have a uncle who, on my wife's side, who just got a kidney transplant, and he's in recovery in San Francisco. So they went to see him, and he's doing well and starting the recovery process, and fighting when organ rejection and all that stuff that goes on with organ transplants. But he's on the road to recovery, and we can't wait for him to get back here to Honolulu. So a little bit quieter in the house, not as much stuff going on, which is nice. And of course, one thing that someone had suggested to me a while back that, and this actually, every once in a while, I'll get an email from a fan of the show who will say, Todd, you need to do something about this or something about that, and make a recommendation. And what I've done, and let me see if I can squeeze this a little bit. This is not a good profile to show this on because I've got this monitor squeezed. But I've put up a new Twitter background. This one is actually a lot nicer than the one I had before. So I think it fits the motif of what the website looks like. And, of course, with a nice profile there for me. It's got a little RSS feed on the side with the logo marks that we have. So definitely check out my Twitter profile at twitter.com/geek news. And if you're not following, please do. But we want to thank the longtime Ohana member that kicked me in the butt to make that happen. And we're actually looking at implementing some of the other suggestions that was made as well. So we appreciate that. Boy, I tell you, I continued to burn the midnight oil here. It's been a very, very busy week. We're getting ready to kick off a new campaign with an advertiser starting Monday of next week. So I had that all wrapped up and ready to go. Matter of fact, 2 campaigns, a big one. One that we're running with the Adam Carolla show. It's the first time we've run ads on his podcast. So he's running one of our sponsor spots over the next 2 weeks, starting on Monday. We'll talk about that on Monday's show, give you a little idea of what's going on. You guys can check it out. And then we're going to launch another advertiser here at GNC for about 6 weeks, and look forward to bringing that advertiser onto the show. So where that leaves us here is basically getting ready for CES 2013. I can't believe I'm already in planning mode, already talking to CEA. So last night I was quite literally crawled away from the desk at about 12:15 in the morning, and had finished up what I call Rev 3 of our basically a media promotion package. So really our work going into CES is a lot of legwork prior to the show. And here it is July, and we're still 5 months away, and yet we're in planning mode already. And sponsors really make things happen. Look at the cost of the bandwidth and the cost of the booth and the cost of shipping stuff out and hotels and food and everything else. And next thing you know, you've got really an expenditure out there in significant amount of dollars. So we have to find great sponsors to help us cover cost and make sure bring a little bit of home, bring a little cash home to put in the bank for all the hard work. But so we're working on that. But if you are a business owner or you have liked our content that we do at CES, we'd like to send you over a promotion package. Drop me an email and we'll get one in the mail for you. So, or actually via email, so that you can take a look and review and maybe come on as a sponsor for 2013. So enough talk on that stuff. Of course, our giveaway promotion continues. We didn't quite get to the point where I needed to be to give away the next item in our stack of our giveaway. But don't forget, we're doing basically you can enter to win by just sending an email to the show that says basically GNC promotion. And or if you want to become an insider and contribute $2, $5, $10, or $25 a month to the show, that helps us out a great deal here. So we want to thank those of you that have signed up and become insiders. And we're going to be starting to, once again, putting out some cool products for insiders that no one else has access to. So let me go ahead and move on to the regular topic at hand tonight. Got a lot of tech to talk about as usual. Hope you guys, I've been getting some good feedback on the shows recently from those of you, basically sending emails saying, hey, it's not for public discussion, but like the large stack of content that you're providing. And so I do appreciate that feedback, and it tells me that we're continue to be on track here with the show. Nothing is ever perfect, but with your guys' input, it definitely helps us stay focused on what's important, and making sure that all of you enjoy the show here. Okay, so let me go ahead and start off by the article is over on Ars Technica, and basically they're talking about this new organization that's being formed, and it's the Internet Defense League. And, I think tonight's the first night of the latest Batman saga. So they have issued, and I thought initially that this was a joke, but what they've done is basically set up a group that basically sends out the cat signal, not bat signal, cat signal whenever there's something that is an issue on the internet that's affecting freedom of the internet. So the Internet Defense League at internetdefenseleague.org has set up an interesting site to, basically get content creators and bloggers and site owners involved in being an activist and keeping an eye on things. So, the internet blackout, there, as they say on their website, was just the beginning. It says, together, our website and personal networks can mobilize the planet to defend the internet from bad laws and monopolies. Are you in? All you have to do there is really put your website down, your email address, or you can join with Twitter. So this is pretty good. And people are going to be putting widgets on their websites. Basically, when you land on a site and there's an issue, the cat signal, the bat signal, is going to show up. So early members of the league include Mozilla, Fight for the Future, WordPress, Reddit, Cheeseburger, Open Congress, Public Knowledge, Don't Censor the Net, Craig Connect, Open Technology Institute, Imager, FARC, Demand Progress, and openmedia.ca. So this is it's an interesting move here. And they got lots of information on the website. I think this is pretty cool here for us to stay active and basically watch what's happening in the space. And we'll keep you abreast on this. And as we dig into, what they're going to do with this activism site, I guess for a better word, we'll keep you advised. But as I go through and read everything, we definitely want to fight for the future of the internet as well, and I'm sure you do too as well. Hey, let's talk about earnings calls. Boy, there was a bunch of them today. Microsoft, of course, announced record quarter four of $18.06 billion in revenue. But they did have a huge write-down on the loss of one of their businesses that they bought a number of years ago. So for the first time ever, Microsoft has posted a net loss. Now, don't read too much into this because they had a huge quarter from a revenue standpoint, and even though they posted a $492 million loss, again the first ever, it was because of this large markdown. And it looks like today, so far, the stock market hasn't basically punished them for it. They've got enough cash in the bank and cash reserves. They needed to take this, but this was basically a write-off, saying this was a bad investment. But anyway, first huge loss by Microsoft, and largely again because of the bad investment number of years ago with this advertising group. Google has defied expectations again. They had a $12.21 billion in revenue, and out of that, they earned $2.79 billion in profit for the second quarter of 2012. So this is a amazing increase, 21% over last year. So that's amazing. They had $10.96 billion of that was revenue from advertising and other close to best businesses. So that is that's huge. One of the sites drilled down into the results, and essentially what they basically stated was that the Motorola division that they bought earned them a cool $1 billion as well, and that's huge, and it's an interesting move here. And but again, 843 million of that was acquired after the acquisition, so it just goes to show you that that is a business that is working for them as well, and that purchase is starting to pay off. Now, on the other hand, AMD quarter two earnings were pretty bad. They saw revenues drop. They only had $37 million in net income. This is a much better improvement in contrast to the $590 million net loss from last quarter. But revenues are still down 11% and 10% year over year. So this is should have all of us a little bit concerned because, AMD is out there and provides some alternatives. And, as much as I like my Intel stock, and which I've disclaimed a number of times on this show, competition is always good in the market. But AMD is definitely seeing a decline here, and a little bit challenging times for them. All right, let's move out of the stock earnings and let's talk about Windows Phone 8. They're saying Windows Phone 8 is going to launch in November. Of course, we're hearing now that Windows 8 itself will launch in October. So this is big. So we're going to see the Windows Phone 8 arrive before Christmas. So if you're looking to upgrade to a Windows Phone 8, this will be the time to do so. But I'm pretty excited about seeing Windows 8 come out itself. But Windows Phone 8 will follow sometime in November. Do you live in San Francisco? Well, this next article should make all of us sit back a little bit and go, what's going on now are cities and municipalities all the way across the country are really in huge financial trouble. We've heard of another municipality in California file for bankruptcy. So it just goes on. And so these cities are trying to figure out how they're going to make more cash, and ink more dollars out of our pockets. So the San Francisco Bay Area Metropolitan Transportation Commission essentially wants to stick a GPS module on every San Francisco resident's car and then track the total miles driven and then tax the owner accordingly. So they say that mass transit and carpools are filing, but it doesn't want people driving their vehicles as much. And if they do, they want them to pay. Now, I don't know about you, but putting a GPS in my car, tracking how far I drive, and sending me a bill for that? So what's to stop law enforcement or governments from seizing the data from you driving around? After it's been in there a few months, you kind of forget, right? So if the government wants to track you, all they got to do is subpoena that information from the city. They basically are trying to implement here a what would be a huge privacy violation. They're also implementing something that's totally new in this country, would be a vehicle miles traveled tax. And they're saying they could charge consumers as much as a dime a mile. And if you think about that, a dime a mile to drive within the San Francisco city limits, it doesn't seem like this is going to pass the litmus test when it's put in front of the voters. But every little bit counts, and these folks are trying to figure out a way to get more money out of us. Fuel prices are up. I just priced tires for my vehicle. They're going to be like $800, simply insane. But so you get in your car and you start it up and it says, insert your debit card, please, because it's got to deduct. You can drive 13 miles, it takes $1.30 off your debit card, or just pulls it out of your bank account. You know what happens when your bank account's dry, but you have a full tank of gas, and you drive out of your driveway and there's no more money to pull? Do they shut your car off? So I can't believe they're actually talking about this, but they are, and it's pretty scary. All right, Yahoo's new CEO, Marissa Mayer, is basically picked up a salary. She's going to have a base pay of about $1 million a year. That works out to about $83,000 a month. That's some serious cash. But that's only a small part of her package, potentially worth about $60 million if she stays through 2017. Now, as fast as Yahoo has been going through CEOs, I'd be very surprised if she makes it to 2017. So what she's going to get is she's going to get a prorated target incentive up to 400% for 2012. The annual executive targeted plan is normally about 200% because we're halfway through the year. She wants a full year's credit. She's going to get $12 million in restricted stock and stock options for 2012, vesting over 30 months. She's going to get $14 million in restricted stock units through 2014. She's going to get $4 million in 2012, $7 million in 2013, and $3 million in 2014. She's going to get $50,000 a year for security. She's going to get a $30 million retention equity award and stock options that vest in equal parts through 2017. So overall, her package is pretty inexpensive as compared to a lot of other Yahoo CEOs. Now, if you look at Carol Bartz, she got a total package worth $187 million over 4 years. So it looks to me like Yahoo is trying to be a little more fiscal responsible. Of course, they're out of money anyway. So, Semo got $600 million for 6 years at Yahoo. So this goes to show you that they are paying attention to the bottom line. But still, $60 million if she makes it to 2017 is not a bad hunk of change. Of course, she was employee number 20 at Google, so she's obviously rich in her own right from, vesting over there and being at the right place at the right time. And so anyway, this is a serious amount of cash for this new CEO. Well, Syria. Of course, Syria, we've probably all been watching what's going on in Syria in the news, but Syria made a little new type of news today. Syria deleted itself from the internet for just about an hour and a half today. And a lot of people are speculating that the Syrian government may be practicing on how to shut down their network if they need to do so. But essentially, there was a shutdown for about an hour. And, this could be a test, or this could be some other action that may have happened that shut the network off for a short time. But definitely they were offline. So things are deteriorating over there, and I wouldn't be surprised if that ruler will be out on his nose soon, or, like many of these other rulers, captured by rebels and killed at the least. So we'll see where this leads. But things haven't turned out so well in some other countries that have had this happen here recently. Of course, no one wants to say too much about it, but a lot of trouble, obviously, in that part of the world still. All right, I want to show you guys a found this over in Gizmodo, and what it is a pretty odd. Have you guys have seen those ticker boards before that are like in um train stations and so forth? And I don't. Hopefully, this doesn't have any audio to it, and I'll describe it for those of you that are just listening. Let me see if I can play this here and bring this up. And basically, what you see is one of those ticker boards. And what's different about this ticker board is that it updates real fast, but it has something else as well. It's got the ability that when someone walks up next to it, it shows a shadow of the person. And when they wipe their arm, it's like wiping off the tickers on it. And this is pretty incredible. So for those of you that are actually listening to the show, you want to look at this, watch this video, uh, because it's pretty cool. It really is what they have done here. And they're using some sort of motion detector, of course, at the top of the mountain. But this is a huge sign, and apparently it's going to be used in some sort of a movie test. But anyway, shows this guy walking up next to this ticker, and it basically he acts like an eraser when he's wiping his hand over letters, and then when he does it real hard, it clears the screen, and then it comes up with a message. Now, what I think's happening, and if you follow stuff going on with some of these television shows, the word on this, let me see, it's for TNT's new crime drama called Perception. Apparently, it's going to be some sort of a promotional piece. It's going to be available on Herald Square at 6th Avenue and 32nd Street in New York City. So if you're in that area, you got to go check this thing out for me. It is pretty awesome. Whoever designed it has done a great job, but I'm sure a lot of people are going to be having fun with it. We'll probably see more YouTube videos on this. Today, I found an article over on BuzzFeed.com, and this is not a normal place that I'm looking for tech articles, but I found the article pretty fascinating. There's this guy in California. His name is David Johnson, and he, for a number of years now, well, actually, it's for 2 years, has had the email address to Jay-Z. And those of you that, probably know who Jay-Z is. As an artist, very popular, very big in the music space. So Johnson, who lives in Davis, California with his wife and 2 kids, has been writing extensively to Jay-Z about his life, what's going on in the space, responding to things that Jay-Z says publicly, and really writing a large number of emails. So it's kind of, if you think about this, basically the reason he knows that he's getting through to Jay-Z is he's been using an email tracking service. And the email tracking service has basically been, the tracking service is called Read Notify, and it basically puts a little graphic on the email. So when you send it out, and the person opens it and the graphic is shown on the page, Read Notify is notified that you sent it. I mean, that they've seen it, how long it's been since it's sent, that it was read, and so forth. The area that the message was read in. So he's been sending emails to Jay-Z again for a while, and sometimes they're read 2 or 3 times. And he's sending these dialogues about his life, about discrimination, and about just a whole bunch of other topics. And so he knows that, and he's pretty sure they've got evidence that it's Jay-Z that's reading them, because he'll see, like if he's in New Zealand getting ready to open for a concert, and he'll send an email. The reporting system will basically pop up and say that he's in New Zealand or Auckland or Denver or London, Manchester, so forth. So he's pretty sure that he's got Jay-Z reading his emails. So if you think about this for a second, every once in a while I'll get on someone's email. They'll be emailing me stuff. I had this one guy that was emailing me for about a year some really off the wall, whacked out stuff. And a lot of it didn't make any sense. I'd get in, oh boy, it's this guy again. And it would be this rambling rant on a variety of different topics. And I don't know if he was trying to get me to be provoked and say something on the show. It usually wasn't tech related. It was more political, that type of stuff. So those quit. And I guess, again, probably a couple years ago when that was going on. But it was kind of weird getting those emails because sometimes, just by default, you'd read the first couple of sentences and I'm like, oh, it's this guy. And I'd click delete. But if you think about this, the power of this, if you've got a artist like Jay-Z who has such a huge fan base, if he's actually reading your emails, not once, but maybe twice, it makes you wonder, okay, maybe am I getting through to this guy? So this guy stepped it up a little bit and basically was asking for Jay-Z to respond and interact, and he never did. The guy got a little frustrated, and he's starting to try to get a book deal. He's going to publish all those emails that he sent Jay-Z, and the publishers have been a little bit leery. And he even thinks that maybe in some of the emails he sent, Jay-Z got the idea that he was approaching people for a book deal, and then they came in and maybe shut him down and basically said, hey, we don't deal with this guy or whatever. But it's interesting to think if you could send an email blind and have the person that you're trying to get through to read it blind and not respond, but you know about it. It's a pretty interesting concept. And, I'm sure the service that does this is going to be getting inundated with new customers because there's oftentimes you're just wondering, okay, send that to the person, read it. When we send out our newsletter at Raw Voice, we send that out, and it basically tells me the number of people that have clicked on links and doesn't give a lot of detail. But this email service, Read Notify, is pretty big. It says open, location, language, browser, and a whole bunch of other details about, how the media was or how the email was read. So, could you send stuff like this to the president? Could you send stuff? You'd have to be careful because, you'd say something wrong, you're going to have the Secret Service busting your door in. But could you send opinion pieces to your senator and stuff? And usually that stuff gets like immediately sequestered by an aide, right? And they send you the form letter back. But, what if you knew a secret email address for an individual that couldn't afford to have that email address sent down, but you sent it to and you were getting through and they were reading your stuff? It's pretty compelling. You think about that for a second. Oh, wow, what would you say to that person, And then, again, would you end up in court when this person would, try to get you a restraining order to keep you away from being a stalker? I don't know. But interesting article goes into more details. I have a link up in the show notes. All right, Google has built a database links to all pirated media. It's part of their disclosure record, and they're basically them wanting to disclose how many takedown notices they're getting. Hold on to your hats. Last week, Google responded to 719,415,000 URLs that they were requested to take down, in which copyright holders had basically told Google, hey, this is copyrighted material, take it down. Almost 800,000 requests in a single week. So you go back to, and these are all peer-to-peer, okay? This is all peer-to-peer links. So starting in about January of 11, it was less than 200,000, peaking this week to just under 800,000. That tells you how much stuff is being asked to take down. So it's part of their ability to disclose all these takedowns. They're posting all the takedown links. And so it makes you think, okay, they've been asked to take it down, but yet they're going to post the actual links of the content that they're taking down in a list. So, all someone's got to do is wait for this list to get updated. And you can say, okay, there's a download for that. There's a download for this. So, but again, it gives you all the links. And I'm just looking at the first 13 that they had as part of this article. And it was a lot of Rapid Share, a lot of Rapid Box, Juarez.ir. You can tell some sites, general-files.com. So, some sites I'm not familiar with, but I think the only one I was really recognizing was RapidBox. Again, one of these Dropbox services. So you can see people are sharing infringing content all over the place, at least alleged infringing content. But it's interesting that Google is now going to post a list of those types of takedowns. But you can tell it continues to grow. Now, the judge that made the comment earlier in the week, talking about how the United States was the enemy, well, the New Zealand judge has stepped down from his role, and he basically had to recuse himself. I guess that's recuse himself, because people were bringing into question his ability to be impartial in the case. So this judge has surrendered his role, and I'm sure the Kim.com folks are like banging their head against the wall because things have been going pretty well with this judge. So now they're going to get a new judge, and we'll see if this new judge is as, how should we say it, easy on Kim.com as the other as this one has been. So we'll see how this moves on. But that judge is out for his comments calling the United States the enemy. Another thing that's going on is there's a new court order coming out, which may require Google to censor sites Rapid Share and Mega Upload. And basically, Google is going to have to why are they blocking Mega Upload? And Mega Upload's already offline. So anyway, court may order Google to censor Torrent, Rapid Share, and Mega Upload. And this is a case that they've had going on for a while against the music industry. And last week, the French Supreme Court ruled that Google can be required to censor the search terms Torrent, Rapid Share, and Mega Upload from its instant and autocomplete services. The court argued that Google indirectly facilitates copyright infringement by failing to filter these terms. Now, if I search for Mega Upload, I'm looking for information on the case, so I don't know if I'm infringing, but in France, they consider that a potential to do so, and they want those search terms negated as much as possible. Finally here, speaking of Mega Upload again, the U.S. government is basically trying to rewrite the rules according to the Mega Upload folks. We know the battle between the Mega Upload and the U.S. government continues unabated, but Mega Upload's legal team has submitted a rebuttal to the government's claim that Mega Upload can be brought to justice in the United States. They accuse the Department of Justice of making up its own rules to keep the criminal proceedings alive. They say the entire case should be dismissed. Instead, Mega Upload's legal term. Oh, that's what the Mega Upload team argued. Mega Upload's team said none of the government's arguments squares with the plain language of the rule, of which or with any known precedent construing it. Each should be dismissed along with the indictment against Mega Upload. They are right, and this is basically they're looking at the fine text of the law, and so we'll see where this goes here with this upcoming ruling on this, and if this thing may be over before it goes any further. I don't know if I've seen this before or not, and those of you that are listening, you're gonna want to kind of check this out. And this is over on Ogizmo. It's called a peel wall light. It looks like your wall is peeling off to reveal wonders, essentially underneath. And basically, it's a lamp that's integrated as part of the architecture of the room. And the cables are hid. And the light is held up with a simple steel bracket that mounts to the wall in an aluminum frame. And a fabric diffuser magnetically attaches to the frame to complete the lamp. Now, this thing's expensive. It's about $900, but it's pretty interesting what they have designed here, and essentially, it's more for a, I guess, for a better word, a talk piece than anything else. It's used to decorate, and at $900, and it's just a corner light too. It's not like it's a full panel, so it's really bright, and you'll have to see this. I'll have a link up in the show notes for you to check out. But again, it's a corner light. It's called the Peel PWEL wall light, and but you can put the covering back on it. You can't see it anymore. So, but yeah, for $910, that's lot of lot of Benjamins for a light. All right, next thing is, and how many of you have ever had to basically in gym class, you had your padlock, right? You had your master lock, and you would basically uh, between classes, you'd have to get in there and get your towel and get a shower, and you're always worried about someone getting into your locker. And I know that master locks, especially the types that go on lockers, really all you need is a long screwdriver to bust those things open. It doesn't take too much because they're really just not that strong. They're designed to keep honest people honest, and the crooks are always going to get in no matter what. But Master Lock has come up with what's called a dial speed electronic combination padlock. It's got a touch sensitive screen, and but it's pretty slick. I think we all remember it's sometimes pretty hard to remember right, 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 left, 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 right, right, right. How many times do you have to cross something? But anyway, you can set up to 3 guess combinations, retrieve your lost key from. It's pretty cool. It runs off a battery, and but anyway, $25, not bad for a padlock from the future, all digital, and by the folks at Master Lock, and it's pretty enough that I don't think people are going to. Well, and the question is it as strong as its predecessors? But anyway, if you want a digital padlock, this is your chance to pick one up. You guys know about these bodies that you can put your iPhone in or different phones, and it basically has a little lens in front. It appears that someone is making some adapters where you can have. It's a product from Focus iPhone case. It's rather large and it's heavy, but what they're going to be doing is they've made an adapter that allows you to attach a Nikon or a Canon EOS lens to this, and it comes with its own lens and $99 for a wide angle. I've got one of these from a different company, and use it from time to time, but it's just a metal body, and but they're going to make this adapter here. It's not inexpensive. The 35 millimeter adapter is $220 for Canon and $245 for Nikon, but essentially it gives you the ability to have a real nice a lens being used to shoot pictures with your iPhone. So I'll have this link up in the show notes. Seems to me a lot smarter just to go out and buy a nice DSLR with that type of cost. We're going to switch gears here a little bit, and we're going to talk about broadband in the United States. This article that's over at GigaOM, gigaohm.com, of course. So there's a report out about internet speeds in the country right now. And basically, the latest report says that most internet service providers are coming very close to actually delivering what they are advertising. So that in yourself, you think about, well, that's an improvement. It really, really is. Now, sadly, though, for better or worse, over half of those who subscribe to broadband, of course, here in the United States, are under some form of bandwidth cap, which means that many have a meter, and you can track how much data you use. And the folks over at GigaOM wanted to come basically sample and see what type of data usage is happening in the country. Now, here's a telltale sign. June, July, August, and even into early September are usually slow podcast listener months. And this is oftentimes why I run promotions and do stuff this time of month, is to keep you guys engaged instead of going to the beach. Now, I know you're going to go to the beach, but I want you to take me with you when you go to the beach. So, March, April, May, obviously this nice big strong climb, and then June, July, August, the amount of bandwidth is being used drops. So here's a family who is a cord cutter family with a kid. So for example, in April and May, they used about 125 gigs each month. And then June, it dropped to 83, and July, so far, only 34. Now, if you compare that to single ladies in Atlanta, um, single ladies' monthly data usage is under 6 gigs a month. Now, so here you've got this cord cutter with kids using 124 in April and May combined, and then June and July probably going to use about 83 each for each month. And you've got ladies using data, 6 megs in February, excuse me, 6 gigs in February, 4 gigs in March, and less than a gig in April, May, and June. I think so. Why are the ladies not using the internet that much? So, but if you go and look at couples, and this is a couple that's in Chicago, they're 2 adults in their mid 30s. Their usage looks like April, May, June looks like 40, 75, and 89. And you think, well, that's not that much. But if you go and you look at the folks who have an empty nest, in other words, the kids are gone, where there's 2 adults aged 60 and 58, the traffic is like 14, 16, and 25 gigs. But you go back and have a family that has teenagers, oh my goodness, hang on to your hat. 2 adults in their mid 40s, 3 kids aged 10, 12, and 14. In their home, they have 4 smartphones, 3 iPads, 1 Transformer Prime, 1 Kindle Fire, 3 Apple TV boxes, 3 set-top boxes, 3 Kindle e-readers, 4 PCs, 2 Macs, 1 iPod, and 1 Xbox. And they are a pay TV subscriber. Their usage in April, May, June was 319 gigs in April, 254 gigs in May, 260 gigs in June, and on track to hit 260 plus gigs in July. So a lot of it has to do with your family size, your age, your marital status, and whether you're a female or a male. So it's interesting to see this bandwidth spread in these different demographics. I'd like to see more of this kind of stuff come out and actually see how much data people are, averaging across the country by these different demographics. Right, the cable guys were pretty happy with the results from the FCC, and so the cable guys immediately fire back at the FCC, and they basically said, "Hey, ISPs are not the bottleneck. Google and the infrastructure in between is." And I thought that was kind of an interesting comment to be made, when this first good report comes out for cable providers. So I said, okay, let me look a little bit deeper into this and get some thought process going here. So if you're lucky enough to live in an area where you have Verizon Fios and you can get 300 meg service, that does not mean that if you are by yourself in your home and you cruise over to a website and click play or download, that you're going to get that media at 300 megs. What it really means is that you could probably have 4 or 5 people in your house going to the same site, downloading the same file, and probably all of you getting throughput speeds that are much higher than what you would on a normal connection that is like mine, where you get 50 gigs down and 3 gigs up. So data centers just cannot ship content back to the end user at 300 megs per second. And largely because most servers that are out there that have been in use for the past 5 years or so have no more than 10 megs of Ethernet connection. Basically, they're a computer in a rack. Now, some of those computers are going to have 1 gig Ethernet, but usually what happens is, and I know what happens with our servers that we have at GoDaddy, all of those servers are 1 gig. Basically, they have a 1 gigabit Ethernet port, and the content transferring between them is just smoking fast, as you would suspect. But as soon as you basically head out the firewall of GoDaddy, they're not going to allow you to utilize a full gig at one time. First of all, the server can only handle so many concurrent connections at once, and they are going to protect their network by not necessarily throttling you, but their design is such that you're just not going to get this huge, you're not going to be able to pull from my server at 300 megs per second. Because really, what I'm trying to do on my server as well is I say, okay, the video is at 300 or 3000K per second. That means that if um, I have to divide that out and make sure how much traffic I can handle without timing someone out. So, I have to manage that on my end as well. So their comment here about Google being the bottleneck is total BS because, again, most of the internet is not transmitting data fast enough to take advantage of most of these rapid broadband speeds. Now, what I will say is when you're on these big fat pipes within your local internet service provider realm, I've got a buddy that does some work for me from time to time, and he's here in Hawaii, and he basically pulls a file from my machine. He gets done with it. I can pull it back if something needs to be edited and so forth. So, and it's blazingly fast. I get all my throughput, but I'm not going out to the internet. So just remember, between your computer and Google and other sites, there's usually a lot of steps. And don't miss the big picture here with the FCC Broadband Quality Report. It has nothing to do with Google servers, and it has everything to do with Google, Netflix, and others trying to serve their customers in a market where broadband services are constrained by caps, getting them the data that their customers want at a reasonable price and not being encroached upon by these bandwidth limitations at the ISPs. All right, switching topics here, and boy, I got a lot to go, and it's already late in the show. Thousands of YouTube partners are now reportedly making six figures a year, and boy, I tell you, teach me how to be successful on YouTube, and we wouldn't need any sponsors on this show. You guys have heard me talk big about Monoprice at monoprice.com. If you are looking to pick up some cheap headsets, the Monoprice 8320s, according to lifehacker.com, are the best earbuds you'll find under $10. And again, this is not a replacement for your in-ear earbuds that you paid $100 for, but these are pretty good earphones that you can share with kids. And Monoprice, you can buy 3 or 4 at once and have them sent out. And when the kids lose them, you give them another pair. And you're only out $7. So I love monoprice.com. I've used the site a lot. I've told you guys that a number of times. A couple of days ago, BMG started issuing takedown notices to videos containing President Obama's, the president's video clip of him singing Al Green's "Let's Stay Together." And it's just a short clip. So BMG started by taking down presidential candidate Mitt Romney's videos off of YouTube and didn't take anyone else's out. So as soon as as people caught wind of this, they started claiming foul, and BMG had to go ahead and keep from getting too much egg on their face. They had to take the president's own videos that were on YouTube offline because of copyright violation. Well, it's a pretty comical little situation that happened here, but YouTube has decided that the president singing of Al Green is fair use and have restored all the videos. So BMG is basically, who has issued those takedown notices, had basically told YouTube, listen, you got to comply with our order here. Now at this point, the ball is back in BMG's court. Technically could file a lawsuit against the uploader of the videos if they want to, meaning the Romney campaign and the president, or it could go after Google itself. So we'll see what happens with this. But maybe BMG will realize that taking down a political commentary and taking stuff down from the president is probably not a smart thing in this day and age. And they were just, here's what it is. They got caught. They caught taking down the videos because they weren't taking them down up to this point for months and months and months. Um, I got someone here that came in the chat room. Who was that? Someone says, "Hey, Todd, give it up. Your podcasting forum is dead. Find a real daytime job and leave the new podcasting forward to the professionals." Shut up, slave. I think that was Adam. Adam, if you're still watching, thanks for hanging out, man. It was funny. Very, very cool. So we got Spitballs on chat. MIB Pro was here as well. So that's funny. If that was AC, that was cool. Hey Adam, why don't you donate to the Insider program? Hey, I did a review on the A-Pen A5 Smart Pen review, and this is my wife has fell in love with this thing. Yeah, and I'm not the graphical type of guy. It's I have other people do creative for me, and she spends a lot of money on paint pencils and similar to what I spend on gadgets. So when the A-Pen A5 Smart Pen arrived, I just handed it to her and said, "Yeah, figure this out and play with it." And she's loving this thing. So if you're looking for a way to draw on your iPad, this $129.95 gem might be the way to go. I know there's a couple of options out there for people. Let me basically bring up a picture of this for those of you that are watching. Oops, I'm waiting for the come on site load. And there it goes. And it looks like a little pen. It comes from replaceable tips, a protected pouch, a start guide, and there's 3 apps on the in the App Store that you can check out and grab. Another article that is over on GNC is a review I did on the iLove Dual Jack, and basically, the folks at iLove are doing some real nice gadgets here, and it's hard to get excited about cables. Most of us have a drawer full of them already. I know I do, but the iLove Dual Jack basic is a combination sync and charge cable. It's for Apple devices and most smartphones. So what's cool about it is that it has a standard USB jack on one end, then a hinged jack on the other that has both the Apple 10-pin connector and the micro USB all in one. Pretty nice 2-in-1 type of deal, and I think you guys will get a lot of use out of this. I had to laugh because Jen, one of our writers here at GNC, put together an article. Let me actually bring this up. I didn't grab it. Let me see if I can paste the right piece in there. She wrote this article, and it's gotten a lot of traction. And it's people have either laughed about it or whatever. But she wrote this article. Your computer problem is due to Mercury in retrograde. So if you've been having problems with your computer as of late, maybe you want to read Jen's article on why the planet Mercury is causing you trouble with your computer. Already talked earlier in the show about how our CES 2000 planning's underway. You can definitely check that full article out at GNC as well. And of course, Andrew did a write up on enhance the movie experience. So I want to have that link up for you to check out as well. And this is a pretty cool article. And this is a great way to essentially get a little more out of the movies that you're going to. And he did a great job writing that up. Next article up is on Engadget. Apple has planned a second North Carolina data center. And so this is big. The folks there in North Carolina are probably cheering. The Winston-Salem Journal reports that the folks in Cupertino have filed plans with the county for a second 21,000-foot tactical, they're calling it tactical data center. And so that's kind of it. 21,000 feet is not that big. So this must be a specialized type of data center. If you're a Firefox user, you're going to want to update to Firefox 14. Yes, Firefox 14. Firefox 14 hides your searches from prying eyes. And basically, what they've done is they've encrypted searching with will help keep your Google queries safe from anyone snooping around your network or when you're in a hotel and so forth. Is basically they force you into HTTPS mode when you go to when you're on the line using Google. Now, this next article is went over on Tech Dirt. And here's the title of this. Senate, yes, the U.S. Senate, not concerned about how often NSA spies on Americans, but they're very concerned that it built open source software to do so. You know, I would be I'd be glad that the government is using open source. That means that other people can contribute to the code or take it and mess with it. Now, obviously, I don't think the NSA is going to be sharing their code, but congressional reps are very upset that NASA basically took some of Google's white papers about its big table distributed database setup and built its own open source version with a few improvements, and then source the whole thing and put it underneath the Apache Foundation. So it's interesting here that they open sourced this at all to begin with. And I would think this would be the kind of thing that we'd want to encourage. Taxpayer dollars work is going to build something, and if they're going to put it up online and share it, that's cool. But as the folks are not happy about this in the Senate, but I think it's if the government's going to write code, we paid for it, so if they can share it, they should. After all, it's your taxpayer dollars that build it. All right, the Patent Office has released rules to allow third parties to document. Excuse me, they've released new rules to let third parties provide documents help to reject patent applications. Now, this is a first. This is a step in the right direction. I don't know how widely this is going to be used, but essentially, you've got this huge backlog of patents going on right now. And there's no such thing as a true final rejection of a patent. An inventor and a lawyer can keep coming back, asking the patent office to try again. And essentially, you can provide more evidence and can say this is why it doesn't conflict with another patent. Number one, you can beat them down into submission and hopefully that they'll approve them. Or number two, make your case where they finally acquiesce, or you get into this vicious cycle. And of course, when patents are issued, boy, you're king of the hill. And when patents do get challenged and have to be examined, around a third of those, or excuse me, 3/4 of those have to be adjusted with previous approved claims rejected. So basically, they're trying to get as many submissions on a specific patent to help build the evidence whether or not it should be rejected or whether it should be approved. So I think this is kind of a good move by the Patent Office, and hopefully it reduces some of this vicious cycle that goes on. Now, there's something that's going to be happening here in London that we can't even say the name of on this show. Not legally without getting in trouble and having a copyright violation. It starts with an O. And the event has a lot of people participating in sporting events. So, in the spirit of cooperation, there's lots of sports that are going to be happening in the UK this summer. But the copyright police are roaming the streets. And the committee behind this group that starts with an O has forced a 30-year-old Philadelphia Hero restaurant to change its name. So this is kind of funny. Now, this is the name of the eatery. The eatery is called the Greek. I can't even say it because I'm going to violate copyright. So anyway, this Greek restaurant that was using the word O in their a restaurant name had been required by the committee of the Big O to change its name. So this is ridiculous. It's really insane the level to which that group will go to not allow people that haven't paid the appropriate fee to say the O word. Now, the White House has told everyone that they should have a uh, beep fun day meetups. And that beep started with the O. So they used the word in their invitation a whole bunch of times, and encourage people to have a party and watch these sporting events that are going on in the UK on Saturday, July 28th. So we'll see if that committee reaches out to the White House and tells them that they can't use the O word in their invitations anymore, and just have to call it that sporting event over there. um, the Justice Department sued a telco for daring to challenge its secret demands for private information. Now, the Justice Department can, and the FBI and Department of Homeland Security and Department of Justice can essentially tell telecommunication firms, ISPs, you give me this information on this person, and it basically, there's only a few people in companies that get these letters, and they have to respond, and it's supposedly due to national security. Well, one telecom said, no, we're going to fight this. And now what's happening, and there's a ruling, a court ruling, that a judge says, hey, you can fight this request for information. You're allowed to do so. But what the U.S. Justice Department has done is they have sued the telco. And this is designed to create a massive chilling effect for any other organization who might challenge what's called as an NSL. Again, this is when a company receives a national security letter, this is basically a warrantless demand of information from the service provider. And now with this DOJ's response and suing this telco for challenging that, and it's going to make people really sit back and go, So, so basically the telco says, no, we're willing to go to court and fight. There's this request for information, and the judge is allowing them to do that. And yet, but they can't talk about it. The telco can't say which telco it is. And the DOJ is going back and suing them because they had the audacity to say, how dare you deny this national security letter? So it'll be interesting where this one ends up. It's going to end up costing someone a lot of money, I'm sure. All right, Higgs data is offering joy and pain for particle physicists. So now that we've pretty much supposedly found the Higgs boson, what's next? And basically, there's going to be a lot of scientists are going to be rethinking theoretical ideas over the next couple of years, and they feel that there's going to be really a lot of fallout over this, and a lot of theories that were on the edge before are going to get pushed over the edge and go away. But a lot of scientists are going to be doing a lot of deep thinking based upon what they found so far. So those of you that are in the particle physicist business, good luck over the next couple of years. The EFF is saying Americans may not know it, but many are in face recognition databases now. And we know we're not going to walk out of our houses with paper bags over our faces to avoid security captures from capturing us. But just to know that there is a huge database already. There are 32 states that use some form of facial recognition for DMV photos. Of course, every day that if you submit something on Facebook, and because Face.com was purchased by Facebook, they've got 31 billion faces that are profiled and basically can be measured and figure out who is who. So if you've submitted any photos to Facebook with your picture, you're probably in the database. All right, I want to talk about something here that's just a little bit, it's about our survival and how we have got such a diverse human population. If we all all of us had children, and every child that we had basically looked exactly the same. There would probably not be this huge. Obviously you get twins, identical twins that are look the same. But let's say you have another child 3 years later, and you had twin boys, and the new child that's born looks just like the twins. There would not, we probably would have less kids running around. But researchers at Stanford University have sequenced the entire genome of 91 human sperms from a single man. And they basically, what they wanted to do is they wanted to figure out how the body does its, I guess for a better words, um, mixing of the cocktail. And so what they have found is this incredible diverse mixing, and it confirmed what some previous studies have said, that um, every time it's different. There's not really going to be a chance that you're going to have um, there's a huge genetic mixing going on. So they're going to be releasing some studies that talks about the 23 chromosomes and how the body intermixes that. And some pretty interesting stuff here that they've come out on a science side to really determine, what's really going on in this reproduction cycle, and how, I guess for a better word, the amount of genetic mixing is going on. The scientists are pretty excited about this stuff, and talking about how the sample underwent 23 different recombination events. So this is pretty cool. So I'll have this link up in the show notes for those of you that are interested in that type of thing to check out. World's number 3 SPAN botnet has been basically taken down after a tense takedown. There was basically a war going on, and they were able to get rid of the final servers, and the Grum spam botnet is no longer. They were able to kill it, and over 100,000 computers that were under its control are now basically calling home to no one. So that's cool that they got that shut down. And what else is happening now is, with all these database intrusions going on, hackers are breaking into company databases and getting the email addresses out, and then emailing the customers saying, hey, we've got a malware update to some software. You need to install this immediately to prevent your machine from being hacked. And by doing that, they social engineer people into downloading and actually installing software they shouldn't be. So be aware, if you're getting an email from someone say, hey, there's an issue, always go back to the source website, look around, make sure you're getting the software that you're supposed to be getting. Don't ever install anything from a link in an email. Go to the source. If they don't provide one, ask them to do so. Lots of social engineering going out there. It would be real easy for people to get caught with an issue. Last few articles here. Let me go through these lickety split as much as I can here. Did you guys hear about Larry Page having issues with his voice in their earnings call today? Senior Vice President, Chief Business Officer Nikesh Arora replied to the question, basically saying that Larry has lost his voice but continues to run the company. So if this was Steve Jobs, they'd be asking for more information. So we'll see what's going on. If he's got some sort of a bad virus, or hopefully this isn't permanent, but definitely having some voice issues. Hey, Amazon has launched high-performance SSD instances, and boy, this is exciting stuff. It's a new type of compute instance being added to Amazon EC2, and it targets high I/O jobs, including the NoSQL database applications and the new high-O quadruple extra-large instances store and retrieve lots of data, and they're using SSDs in significant size. And this is pretty cool. So if you got some high processing applications you need to do, you can now get access to those types of instances. Lots of people being arrested. There's a Russian cyber bandit was arrested for attacks on Amazon.com. A 25-year-old Russian man has been arrested for masterminding 2 denial of service attacks against Amazon. He got caught because he was bragging about it. So, and they snagged him in Cyprus this week. So, long arm of the law to reach him. Dave Weiner's good article talking about why does Google ignore the RSS space, and this is continuing to be a sore spot for Dave and many other people worried about RSS going away and people not using it as much. Podcasting, the distribution of media in it is critical. So as we see companies less complying with the RSS spec, we need to stay aware of it as well. It's being reported that Comcast is purportedly prepping for a 305 megabit per second internet connection. So you may be able to buy 300 MPS from them in the near future, and this is to compete against FiOS. Doesn't say what it's going to cost. Comcast hasn't posted their price yet. You're not going to see Time Warner do that. At least I don't think so. Hey, if you're into cool stuff for your office or study, fellas, you're going to love this one. Space Nuts. How about a Mercury spacecraft lamp? This thing could orbit above your dining table. So this is a pretty cool one. I'd like to think that might work here in the studio. Also, the Sony NSZ GT1 Google TV is shipping now from Amazon. So it's how much does it cost? It's worth $200, and this is cool. So we've got a new Google TV available, $200. So if you're thinking about getting a Google TV, this is might be a nice device to pick up. Also, if you're a skateboarder, if you're doing stuff where you're trying to film yourself, there's a cool auto tracking camera that lets those of you that are lonely thrill seekers film your own adventures or crashes and so forth. It's called the Solo Shout. And so, again, Solo Shot via the Red Ferret Journal. This is where I found this. This is, I don't think this is a Kickstarter event, but this basically swings a camera according to whatever speed you have set. And it has a little tracking device that you use, you wear around your wrist so it can watch where you go. So pretty cool device, and I'm sure the skateboarders are going to love this. If you're on certain mobile devices, you can now download the Firefox browser, and so that's being made available. And I think that's it. That's all I got for content tonight. Let me go ahead and look what I've got in my email stack for you. And let's see what I have here. And I got an email here from Michael Dell. And I basically put out a request this morning. If you saw something cool, let me know. And he provided me a link to a Memotrek product. Basically, it's a customized USB flash drive. And you can get these made. This is pretty cool. Got a link here talking about Steve Mann, the guy that's wearing the wearable glasses already, getting attacked in France at McDonald's, which has been a little bit of controversy on the net over the last couple of days. I did get an email from Nick. He said, "Hey, Todd, I just saw this and thought about you. I took 2 ice cubes out of my freezer, tossed them in a large Belgian-style beer glass, and I've just poured some fantastic Conning Pilsner German beer into the glass and created the freshest, coolest, most delicious beer so I can concentrate on programming this new Wi-Fi hotspot for install tomorrow. Cheers. Have a good show." So why are you putting ice in your beer? That is like sacrilegious. Cool the beer, but don't put ice cubes in your beer, especially if you're drinking a large Belgian beer. Oh, come on now. We do that on like cheap beer, like Miller Lite here when it's warm. We don't do that on good pilsners from good German pilsner. That's like drinking scotch with soda, right? Oh, very cool. Let's see. Let me look at the date here. Yeah, that one's a new one. I got an email here from Tim talking about Windows 8 due in October. And I got an email here from Greg. He said, "Hey, Todd, I'm a new viewer to his Saturday and weekday shows. I found the show a few weeks ago. We're searching through my Roku channels for something worth watching. I've enjoyed the discussions between you and your guest. I'm forced to retire from the high-tech industry due to multiple sclerosis 9 years ago. I still enjoy hearing about what's new in the high-tech industry. I love to purchase the latest toys available from the newest Apple product to the new Raspberry Pi open source mini computer. I have a lot of spare time to play with the new products. I look forward to watching your show in the future. Best regards, Greg. Hey, Greg, thanks for being part of the Ohana here and being subscribed to the show. I appreciate it. And we hope that you'll be with us for a long time. Um, and also, I've been getting some more updates on these Windows computer support calls. I guess these are more common than necessary. Of course, Richard had pinged us and said he'd gotten one in the Netherlands, and a couple of people have gotten these recently. If someone calls you and say they're from Microsoft support, hang up on them, okay? Because they are definitely trying to get you to do things you shouldn't do on your PC. All right, folks, we're going to wrap it up here. As always, thanks for being with us and hanging out. Again, my name is Todd Cochran here from Geek News Central. You can follow me on Twitter at Geek News. geeknews@gmail.com is our email address. Voicemail hotline is 619-342-7365. Thank you for supporting our sponsors. It helps keeps the light on here. Unlike No Agenda, which I know, Adam, you guys are completely a donation show, I still have to eat by the support of our sponsors. We're trying to move to a model where the show is more user supported. If we could get the numbers up to the level needed, where I could still eat and not have sponsors on the show, we would definitely do that. But we're definitely not at that point. But I'm hoping the fans of the show will step up to the plate and help us make that happen. And really, we're a long ways from hitting that number because we really would have to raise a considerable amount of money each month from those of you giving monthly donations. But who knows? Over time, maybe we can get to that point. But be more. I'd just love to be able to say, folks, we're only going to have one sponsor ever on the show. I would never want to have to go back to having 3 sponsors on the show, which we've done in the past. But it's all about economics and keeping the show moving forward and keeping keeping the lights on, keep my family fed. But everyone, thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of the Ohana. Thanks for watching the show tonight. It's been my pleasure to do so. And again, geeknewscentral.com is the site. We're here twice a week, every Monday and Thursday night. Saturday morning tech on Saturday. The Gadget Professor was released today. Robot Underpants was as well. So definitely check out all the shows here at Geek News Central. Until next time, we're going to take care and aloha.